are the 4 new books I just bought. As you can see, there's 3 philosophy, the red and black, of course, and then you got 1 pure business strategy book. This is just pure strategy. This is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. This was written in like 130 to like 170 AD range, so almost over 2,000 years ago. And this wasn't a book, this was his personal journal, and then they made it into a book because, I mean, he just had crazy philosophy and crazy knowledge to give. He was a Stoic, and he probably has the most credibility for his word. Out of any man you can listen to, Aurelius probably has that title. Letters from a Stoic by Seneca. Once again, he was a part of the Roman Empire. This is from like 5 AD, so over 2,000 years ago. And he was, of course, Stoic as well, based on letters to a very great friend of his, the person that was the emperor of Sicily at the time. So that's cool because I'm Sicilian too. So yeah, and if you do get this book, you want to get the Letters on Ethics by Seneca. Then you have the most interesting book out of all of these, The Book of 5 Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. This was written in 1645 by a legendary samurai. This is just the most interesting and awesome book. 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel with Blake Masters. Not sure when this book was written, probably 2012, around that area. And like I said, this book is just pure business strategy, notes on startups or just any business you're taking on. It doesn't have to be trying to build the future or like another Elon Musk. You can certainly apply a lot of these rules into your business. And then to cut straight to the books, straight to what you want to hear, I'm just going to go straight into it. 2 main questions on why I got these books, what's going on in my life right now that made me buy this, and what I think it'll do in this chapter of my life. So I think these are 2 great questions for figuring out if you want this book or not. And then of course, I'll just kind of give a summary and my best take on that book. Number 1, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And all these books I got from Barnes & Nobles. You can get them there too. They're not that expensive. For example, this one was $11. What made me buy this book in this point in this chapter of my life? I'm gonna be honest, I bought this book right now just because as I was there getting the other books, I saw this book and I was like, I need this because I didn't get the original version for this book. So I bought this book primarily because I'd already had it and I just wanted to be able to get the good version. From this book, honestly, this is probably my favorite book I've read. There's so much knowledge to gain from this book, and everything, even though being written from like 2,000 years ago, applies so well in today's age, and it just gives you so much clarity because he had an empire on his shoulders. He had 6 children he had to bury in his lifetime, a wife. He had to deal with people trying to betray him. He had to deal with sicknesses and like probably one of the worst times of the empire. So this guy has tons of wisdom, tons of knowledge, and he gives such great advice on just how to deal with your daily life and how to master the mind. He was a Stoic. So yeah, so like a personal journal though, he reminds himself many things in his daily life. He reminds him things to give him clarity, to keep him going, to motivate himself, or to remind him to always be virtuous, to always be virtue, to always be a great man. Reminding yourself every single morning that people will be nitpicky, people will be judgy, people will try to rip away your free time from you. It's always such a great thing to remind yourself because it will happen. And the best thing to do to any event in our life, annoying, bad or good, is to prepare ourselves. And it's always great to remind yourself that your daily life sometimes will suck. There will be annoying people. There will be people that will try to ruin your day. And you must be aware that that's just every single day. But when you're aware of that already in the morning, everything starts to kind of slow down. So there's many notes in this book. He talks about death. He talks about his philosophy on tons of mental states and just how he sees the world, different analogies. So there's a lot of interesting things in here. For example, like right here, how to act, never under compulsion, out of selfishness, without forethought, without misgivings, don't gussy up your thoughts, no surplus words or unnecessary actions, let the spirit in you represent a man, an adult, a citizen, a Roman, a ruler, taking up his past like a soldier and patiently awaiting his recall from life, needing no oath or witness, cheerfulness without requiring other people's help, or serenity supplied by others, to stand up straight, not straightened. So there's so many great things in this book, and I promise you, it will be a lifesaver, especially in your daily life. Question 2, what do I think this book will do in this period of my life? Personally, for this book, it's not nothing very new for me, but I do think it will just help me with my daily life. You know, anytime I'm going through something hard, anytime I feel like I just want to let out so much anger, or I want to respond back to someone that's nitpicky in a very mean way, this would be the book I would pick up. There's just so many great things about this book. So I think this book will help me keep a lot of clarity. This book will help me always remember who I am and how I should always react, and how there should always be, most importantly, how there's always should be underlining principles for why I do everything in my life. Meaning there should be nothing random in my life that isn't a underlining principle that is already in my life. So everything I do should have an underlining principle for why I did it. So that's very important to me. Book 2, The Book of 5 Rings. I've read about 40 pages of this book so far. I originally wanted to grab this book because I saw it on YouTube in the principles of this book and how different his advice is and how great, it's just so different. And it's like some of the things he talked about were just like amazing to me. And so I wanted to make sure to get this book right now because I've been honestly very stressed, dealing with a lot of problems, business-wise, and so that can be annoying. And then just other things too. It can be personal problems sometimes. I was expecting it to just be so different from others because he teaches principles on how to always kind of be in like your flow state, how to have always infinite energy, or his 21 principles of walking alone, thinking deeply of the world, never of yourself. So it's a great book, and it just, like I said, it has so many different principles and ideas, and especially because it's walking alone. So it's about kind of going through the journey of isolation, and how he also thinks going into isolation is mandatory to build a great mind. A mind that is just honestly unbothered by everything, like totally unbothered. But how to master your focus, your energy, how to always kind of stay in that flow state. So this book can do many great things for you. Always kind of being able to have the no mind state, which is always being able to be in the present. It's not hard to go think in your head about things you got to finish later. It's not hard. But being in the present, that is very hard. I think it'll help me be more precise, learn how to kind of shape my focus more, and just once again, deepen my knowledge and give me a totally different perspective on the world from him. What's going on in my life that made me buy this book? Once again, there wasn't much things that made me want to get this book other than the fact that I wanted to just go get tons of philosophy books right now, be able to deepen my perspective, just be able to see many other great minds and how they see the world or their perspective of it, other advice, or maybe there's something in this book that could just give so much clarity that he wrote in those letters. Because obviously his letters was to a emperor of Sicily, so there will be some very interesting stuff in it and some very great takes, philosophies, or different reframes. Because I would say if you can reframe everything, that is one of the most powerful things you can do, because that is the difference between being at peace and feeling horrible. So I think this book will have a lot of different perspectives, and this one's very long compared to the others. This one's about 273 pages, so there will be a lot of knowledge to get out of this book, a lot of different perspectives, a lot of advice, and I guess a lot of stuff on ethics and philosophy. So that's why I bought this in this period of my life. And then what do I think this book will do right now? I think it'll help me with, like I said, I barely read these books, so this is why this is a raw take. But if he's writing letters to an emperor, you know there's going to be some great takes and great piece of advice in here. I definitely want to see what he has to say. But overall, I think it'll help me with, honestly, strategy or reframes or just being able to deal with problems, issues, annoying personal problems. Because once again, this is letters to the Emperor of Sicily, so you can expect a lot of stuff like that in there. So yeah, letters from a Stoic. Make sure to get the Letters on Ethics by Seneca. Get that one if you get it. 0 to 1. Now this one's very specific why I bought this book in my period of my life. So listen up. I bought this book in this period of my life because if I could just hear that there's a book on pure business strategy, scaling vertically, scaling horizontally, then this was going to be the best book to get. To be honest, pure business strategy. If I know that the next months coming forward is just going to be so much time and effort into business and just absolutely just going like this, then that's why I got this, because I knew that's what this was going to be. After the last 90 days for me were just absolutely horrible, I knew I had to make up. But what do I think this book will do? I think, as I kind of said, I think this book will help me scale vertically, horizontally. I think it'll be able to open my eyes to different ways to see problems or solve problems, or notes on things that I must know, or how to always keep a very profitable business, because that's very important, like a very profitable business. Of course, being an online business, you have a lot higher profit margins, but still, kind of just being able to have a online business that is actually of use to the market, something that has demand, something that actually solves a problem, something that has a mission, something that represents something. Most importantly, what does it represent? Just these simple things. Because Peter Thiel, whether you want to admit it or not, has a lot of credibility for his word. So yeah, I believe that's what it'll help me with in this period of my life. Overall, final notes on all these books: 3 philosophy, 1 pure business book, strategy. My favorite book out of them for getting clarity. My favorite book for being able to walk through my daily life and being able to know I'm going to be untouched, unscathed, that no one or nothing can make me feel envious. Nothing can make me feel horrible because of what someone says. That would be Meditations by Aurelius. I can't speak much for some of them because I haven't read a lot of them, but that's why it's a real take. And then for just pure business strategy, 0 to 1. Overall, all these books I believe will do many great favors for me. But if you were to get one of these books, go with Meditations by Aurelius or Book of 5 Rings. I believe this is the most unique, and this one is going to have some different, very different, and some great advice if you just kind of want to go all in life. But overall, I believe a lot of these books everyone should just get. Like these books, I believe everyone should just get these, just read them. They could do many great things for you. I promise you it won't do anything bad for you. Reading does nothing but good things for you. But deepening your knowledge, getting a better perspective on life, being more understanding in every situation is nothing but a superpower. That is the 4 new books I got, and I hope this video genuinely helped. I hope it was the realest, rawest take you can get on these books, because there's no lying, there's no sponsorships. So yeah, but that is it.